Koppel, host of the Time for Coffee podcast, where you get first-hand career advice into the jobs and industries that interest you the most. And before we start today's show, I have a quick favor to ask you. If you haven't already, I'd be incredibly grateful if you give us a rating and a review on iTunes. And if you're like me, you need to do it now because you'll forget later and because it's the best way to help others who may be in search of career advice to find this free resource. So press pause if you haven't done it and do it right now. I'll wait. Thanks so much and enjoy today's show. Hey there, Java Junkies. Welcome to another K-Cup mini episode of Time for Coffee. By the way, K-Cups come in 3 sizes, single, double, and triple shots, or roughly 1 minute, 5 minutes, or 10 minutes in length. So if you don't have time to throw back an entire caffeinated career conversation, these K-Cup mini episodes of T4C can give you a quick caffeinated fix, whether you're on the go or you only have a few minutes to binge. So grab your mug and take a chug, because it's time for a caffeinated career triple shot K-Cup with my guest, Hana bin Shabat. In your book, Hana, you note that Gen Zers, when they're compared with previous generations, they appear to have the highest levels of academic achievement with the highest college enrollment rates.
That's right.
And you cite a Harris poll that shows that for 2/3 of them, their motivation behind all that hard work is for their college degrees to provide them with financial security. How is that affecting where they want to work and the kind of work that they want to do?
Yes. So basically, it's very true. Everybody's flocking into tech and engineering because they believe that that's where the biggest opportunities are. And as I said before, if they don't study that, they try to go and teach themselves new skills or tech certificates in all sorts of topics that help them that. And this is to show that the financial security aspect of this generation, it is so fundamental to who they are. And they will do everything they can to secure that future. So it's fields of education. So what do they choose to study? Then it's the kind of companies that they want to go to, and then how they think about savings and spending.
And you feature an interview in your book that you did with the CEO of a company called Jobs Mall, JOBZ Mall,
yes,
which connect young job seekers to employers through a kind of a virtual shopping mall.
Yes.
And this CEO said that Gen Zers tend to be more interested in the high-profile tech companies or consumer brands,
yes,
much more so than the lesser known companies, which actually make up 90% of the labor force.
Yes, it's very true. And that was actually a super insightful point that he made. And I think this is something that Gen Zers who are listening to this podcast should take into account. It's very natural to go and look for companies that you know from your daily life. We all have Kellogg cereal on our shelves, and I can go and look for Kellogg. Or we all know Google and Facebook from our daily lives. So it's very easy. But I think what is important for students to understand is that there are so many industries that perhaps are less known, and they can provide you with great opportunities, financial and otherwise,
Such as
you can have an opportunities to have meaningful roles already from the start, and you can have opportunity to grow and learn new skills that you not necessarily have just out of college, and those industries are just not sitting at the top of the list. I mean, to give you one example, right now this company is very well known. It's called Regeneron. And they came up with the antibodies for the vaccine, and they became very, very well known in the context of the global pandemic. But before that, nobody really heard much about them. And I met a student who was considering a job there in their manufacturing. And he was like, I just don't know. I want to work in pharma or biotech, but nobody knows about this company. And I was like, but is it really that important? You have to look at the role itself and what it offers you. And then he ended up working there, and he feels so proud that they were in the forefront of literally saving the world with their technologies and with their innovation. So I think it's very important for the young people who are listening today, be open-minded, because sometimes we so want something. And it's just like when I was during my MBA program, I was so focused on becoming a management consultant that I just didn't want to look at anything else. And then when I finally looked at everything else, I felt like I compromised. I don't do what I'm doing. And then that turned out to be an amazing job. And not only, I ended up in management consultant anyway. It's just that you have some time to take a leap of faith and kind of go with the flow, instead of being frustrated about what doesn't work, see what works. And sometimes the opportunities that can come your way are wonderful, and they're going to take you into places, and you're going to meet amazing people, and it's going to be a very rewarding experience.
100%. And I love the Regeneron example. Are there other industries? Regeneron, of course, being in the pharma industry. Mm-hmm. Are there other industries outside of tech that you think are being overlooked that Gen Zers should explore? Because the truth is, job functions, communications, marketing, consulting, finance, research exist in just about every single industry out there.
That's right. And I would say, the pharmaceutical industry is a very big industry, but within that, there are sub-segments like small biotech companies that are doing amazing things. Could be interesting. Again, the consumer goods industry is you have all the big names, but one of the things that happened in this industry over the last, 10 years, there are so many challenger brands that came, and they're doing great things environmentally, and they're creating healthy food, and they have great missions that actually resonate with this generation. And I think it's worth looking into some of these brands. And again, I'm not suggesting go to a startup, because I know Gen Z don't like startups. They want something stable that help them to feel secure financially. But there are already companies that are mid-sized companies that can deliver on that promise and give you great career opportunities. So I would say in the consumer good, I would say also in the non-profit world, there are some really interesting. There are big non-profit organizations that are very well funded, and they are looking for talent, people who share their mission and willing to do good in the world and be part of that delivery of the mission. So again, just be open-minded.
Thanks for tuning in to this K-Cup mini episode of Time for Coffee. If you want to listen to our entire caffeinated career conversation, please check out the show notes for this episode. Thanks so much for listening to this latest episode of T4C. And if you're interested in learning more about my coaching services for confused college students and recent grads, feel free to check out the Time for Coffee website under the coaching tab at time4coffee.org, or text me at 202-236-5712. That's 202-236-5712.